I'm Jake.
And I'm Christine.
And today we are going to break format and try something that I've never really tried before. We're going to watch and review some commercial videos, some promo videos, just whatever you want to call them. Because I think it'd be interesting, and I've seen other people do it, and I think I've established at this point that I'm a pretty big imitator of more successful people.
Trialer of their craft.
So I got some good commercials lined up, and I thought, why not start with a commercial from what is still one of the biggest companies on the planet, Coca Cola.
Ooh, are they going to put penguins and polar bears on the same continent? Because that doesn't happen in real life.
I think this is actually a few years before they did that. Here we go.
Definitely always thought they came from the same continent.
Okay, kids, take a break. Coke is it the most refreshing way to make the most of every day. And wherever you go and whatever you see, there's something big waiting for me and you. Coke is it the biggest taste you've ever found. Coke is it the one that never lets you down. Coke is it the most refreshing taste around. Coke is it. It's the smile you can't hide. Cause it comes from inside. Like the time that you spend with your family and friends. It's the way that you feel when you know it's real. Coke is it the most refreshing taste around. Coke is it. Coke is it.
So yeah, that was Coca Cola from 1982. And not a very flashy commercial, but pretty charming to watch. What do you think of it?
Very spunky.
Yeah.
It just makes you just want to dance. Hence the musical.
And it's a pretty cool setting. Group of high school kids rehearsing for a musical, and then what do they do on break? Break into a musical.
Just to have it.
Just how their love for Coke.
Coke is it.
Do you think those were real high school kids? Because some of them looked like they could be young enough.
I would say they look young enough, if not college. Like, I don't know, like young.
It'd be cool to think that
town music.
they might have gone to a real high school and offered
That
some
would be
kids.
awesome.
That would have been awesome. And I had a video production class in high school and never got to work on any real commercials, but I got to work on a few local ones. So,
Yeah, your zombie one.
so watching that kind of thing is kind of cool. Now this commercial is definitely more high budgeted and more mainstream. This is for Dr. Pepper from 1984, and it has a Little Red Riding Hood theme.
Weird. Little Red Riding Hood meets Baywatch? Come on, Mr. Wolf.
Well, how about some little bed cottage cheese?
Fuck no.
Maybe a Diet Cola?
Bullshit.
Well, I was saving this for myself, but...
Oh my god, no. It makes him a human?
Yeah,
Oh, weird. Still has the tail.
so, yeah.
Who had the outrageous idea to put a Dr. Pepper with Little Red Riding Hood, sexualize Little Red Riding Hood, morph the werewolf into a, I guess, the werewolf, the wolf, into a real human being? What?
My first thought when I found this commercial was, Little Red ain't so little anymore.
No.
I guess it's nice that she still visits her grandma. But yeah, that was funny. And now we've gone through a few soda commercials. Let's move on to a more adult drink commercial. This is a commercial for Seagrams wine coolers, featuring a very young Bruce Willis.
Hey, me fella.
Definitely a masculine lead because they're trying to advertise to females. Males. Because females are drinking.
It's wet and dry. That's a very simple commercial, nothing too big, but it's funny to see Bruce Willis there.
Definitely. And also, you could never take men on a porch and give them a wine cooler. Just, they will always have a beer in their hands. You can't make that happen. Sorry, marketing team, not gonna happen.
And you could tell Bruce Willis was having fun here.
Yes.
Just being as goofy as possible. And this was made around the time he was a star on the show Moonlighting. Very popular 80s show, before he even did Die Hard. And he actually did a whole bunch of these commercials, very different ones. One with a couple of gay jokes, and one where he hit on a young Sharon Stone by buying her a wine cooler. But of all of them, there is one other that I really enjoy. It implies that it's when you get the wine coolers that the night suddenly becomes cool. This is from 1987, once again featuring Bruce Willis, and one of the few times I'm going to do two commercials for the same product in a row.
Sitting in a bar, swinging for the town. When they came and looked me up and down, I had my Seagrams wine cooler. Just me, I'm thinking, I'm drinking. Don't you know this is where the fun starts? Seagrams wine cooler. This is where the fun starts. Seagrams wine cooler. We ain't downtown, listen to me.
Bruce Willis can dance. He should be on Big Three Stars.
He was actually a musician for a while.
I didn't know that.
I sometimes hear a song from his on Sirius XM's 80s on 8. Yeah, he was actually tried being a singer for a while.
So young.
Yep.
No receding hairline.
Well, I don't even think he has a receding hairline anymore. Yeah, you can tell he's having a blast here, and it's so fun to watch. And I first heard about wine coolers maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I was reading a book that might have featured the name, and I didn't know that that was a drink back then, actually. When I first heard the term wine cooler, I thought it was a term for a fancy bucket you put your wine in.
That actually cooled it. That is a thing as well, though. Just called a nice bucket.
You ever had a wine cooler?
I have had a wine cooler.
They any good?
No, they're terrible.
Me, I stick primarily to whiskey and vodka.
Just stay there. Don't go to the coolers.
Got it. And now moving on from drinks, whether they be soft beverage or hard beverage, we're moving into more product territory. Now, before I play this, do you know who Kelly LeBrock is?
No.
She was the chick from Weird Science who was created by the two guys with the computer.
Oh,
Yep, that's her, and
Okay.
she was also married to the once great, now not so much, Steven Seagal. And they starred in one movie together called Hard to Kill. Anyway, pretty early in her career, just like Bruce Willis, she was, I guess, the spokesperson for a pretty popular product, Pantene Shampoo. And
Pantene girl. Sorry.
And this commercial is very memorable, and its catchphrase pissed off a few feminists.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. My hair used to be a joke. Dry, split ends. Then I discovered Pantene. Pantene has this pro-vitamin formula that actually strengthens your hair from inside. It's incredible. Even with everything I put my hair through, it looks so healthy, strong, shiny. Listen, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Pantene, serious care for beautiful hair.
You'll see.
Well,
They really have not changed their marketing.
well, it's good that they're honest.
Yep.
Won't happen overnight. And
If it was a good quality shampoo, I could.
she really was a beautiful spokesperson. And a joke that came to my head when I first saw that was when she's like, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful." I was like, well, I wasn't. Then you said it in such a condescending way, and now I'm like, fuck you, bitch. But yeah, it's no secret that a lot of commercials are marketed on exploiting very sexy women, and not just for like shampoo or drinks, even for home electronics. This here is a commercial for Panasonic VCR. This is going to feel very old, and I'm sure a lot of people on YouTube don't even know what a VCR is. I mean, they probably do, but it's probably from a very distant past.
Yes.
Panasonic introduces a new lightweight video system that's so automatic, it works by itself. The Panasonic video camera focuses by itself, adjusts for changing light by itself, even works in extreme low light all by itself. This Panasonic VHS recorder connects almost by itself and plays back a jitter-free picture in slow motion and stop motion. Put in a pre-recorded movie, and this Panasonic gives you hi-fi sound through your stereo. Sound so far superior to ordinary TV, it stands out by itself. Panasonic video system, just slightly ahead of our time.
Not gonna lie, that kind of does look a slightly ahead of the time.
Yeah, I mean,
So many features.
I use a Canon camera and a Sony, depending on what I'm shooting, and I'm not sure they're even that good as they advertise this camera.
No. Slow motion and stop motion? What the hell is stop motion? Can you pause something?
And it's
Freeze?
cool. It's funny to see old school cameras so big, and that you would
Okay.
and that you would record it actually into something you carried on your hip or on the tripod. But hey, you could also watch movies at home with it.
That's true.
And going back into commercials that have a bit of a comedic vibe, this here's a commercial for McCulloch chainsaws from 1982, and like the Little Red Riding Hood commercial, this one I think is a little messed up.
Oh, you want to make a deposit?
You bet, $30. Yeah, it's our McCulloch rebate money.
Okay.
McCulloch? You mean McCulloch chainsaws?
Yeah, with McCulloch's rebates, you can save up to $30 on gas and electric saws.
What do beavers need a chainsaw for?
We're building a lake house
A lake house?
with a fireplace and a hot tub.
A hot tub?
Yeah.
Sounds romantic.
Hey, anyone ever tell you you have great teeth? I think she likes you, Barney.
Get a McCulloch with chain break. And get a rebate at your local McCulloch dealer.
So it's not like huge, but it almost seems like there's a little bit of a bestiality vibe going on here.
Just a bit.
So you use a sexy Red Riding Hood, and now you're using a beaver and a beaver horny clerk lady to sell your products.
I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, come on.
Beaver is also a feminine female term.
I thought, I knew that's what it sounded like, and I was trying to avoid going that route, but yeah, double entendres for you. Anyway, chainsaw commercial. And now let's see a commercial for a company that I believe is no longer around. Or a store that's no longer around, Radioshack.
Oh no, it still exists.
Really?
Yep.
I thought it was out of business at this point.
There's one in Portsmouth.
Must be one of the last.
I guess so.
This here's a vintage Radioshack commercial from the Christmas season of the 80s.
Maybe it's a Circuit City.
Merry Christmas. I solved all my gift problems at Radioshack's Christmas electronics sale. Got my son two-way bass reflex speakers. Half price
I
for
had
only
those.
$39.95 each. For my daughter, a cordless telephone. On sale, $69.95. I got my wife a dual alarm clock radio. Sale price, $34.95.
I think my mom had that alarm
Got myself
clock.
a full-size solar calculator. With memory, on sale, only $8.88. Super sale. A Christmas electronics sale. Only...
Sale.
Electronics.
It's funny. They talk about sales, but I think all that commercial did was show just how fucking expensive Christmas is. If you,
Who buys their like loved one a calculator or a phone?
I think the guy said he got the calculator for himself.
Oh.
I think he said the phone was for his daughter, because, you know, young bitches gotta talk.
The calculator to probably be like, oh my god, I'm going into debt.
But yeah, 39, like 60 something. That even today that seems kind of high. And here's a commercial for a computer that banked on Radioshack approving them. This is a commercial for the Commodore 64 from 1982.
Rather than compare personal computers ourselves, we asked the computers which one was better on the basis of price and memory. The Apple II preferred the Commodore 64. Then we asked the IBM, and it picked the Commodore 64. Then the Radioshack chose the Commodore 64. That's what we like about our competition. It's so honest. The Commodore 64. What nobody else can give you at twice the price.
$595. That seems a little reasonable today.
That does.
But yeah, the Commodore.
Never heard of it.
It was a pretty big computer in the 80s, and my mom talked about how it was a computer that she used at work for a while, like everybody used. It was primarily a work computer, but you could also play games on it, I think. This very 80s with all the green screen digits going by.
Very.
And going back once again to the VCR age, here's a commercial for Memorex VHS Tapes from 1982.
Look at me. Do you like what you see? Good. Because it's not me. It's a recording of me on new Memorex videotape. This remarkable tape has been recorded and re-recorded 100 times. But I bet you still couldn't tell if it was Memorex or me, which really isn't me. It's Memorex. New Memorex videotape. Even after 100 recordings, you'll wonder, is it live or is it Memorex?
Okay, that's actually kind of crafty.
Yeah, that was pretty creative. But I highly doubt that that tape that they used was 100 times.
Oh no.
I think my great-grandfather may have used a few of those. My great-grandfather in the 1980s was pretty big on recording stuff off of HBO.
Oh.
He couldn't do a lot near the end except watch TV, and he loved to make tapes, record off of HBO and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I still have a few of them, and they still work today.
Huh. Fascinating.
But what is an advertisement without having a little celebrity endorsement? Here's a Polaroid VHS commercial featuring the great Vincent Price.
enjoy an evening with a little light entertainment. But when your video heads get dirty, you lose your picture.
Oh,
Not a pretty sight. Happily, this new Polaroid video cassette will help. It actually cleans your heads as it plays, so dirty heads needn't haunt you. Polaroid video cassettes. Get the picture?
Oh, I do get the picture, Vince. So, what do you think of that with the horror theme going on?
It was funny.
And I'm not sure you know who Vincent Price is, but in the 1960s, he was a huge horror icon. He was known primarily for doing Edgar Allan Poe related horror and a few vampire and zombie movies.
Yep.
And his very last movie role before he died was in Edward Scissorhands.
Was he the doctor?
He was the inventor of Edward.
Yeah.
Tim Burton, I believe, idolized him, and I think they were actually pretty good friends near the end of their lives.
Like the mountain.
Well, Price's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a pretty cool old man, and Johnny Depp talks about how, even in his old age, he loved to recite poems by Poe. And he could do it all from memory.
Oh, I bet.
So what have you thought of the commercials I've shown you so far?
Very nostalgic.
You weren't technically an 80s kid. You were more
I
of
am an 80s. Well, yes, but an 80s.
You were 3 by the time the 80s ended.
Yes.
I think. So I think that makes you more of a 90s kid. But
Yes. I grew up in the 90s, but I was.
But I think they probably reran a few of these commercials still as the years went on.
Those were all issues when I was a kid.
And they're very mainstream ones, the ones I'm showing you. However, there were local commercials that played primarily in the areas of like local state channels. I'm tripping over myself. And you would only see them in those particular state areas. And
Water country, have some fun. Sorry.
and a particular character who was used to market many products was Ernest P. Worrell, played by the late Jim Varney. I don't know if you remember Ernest. He was like a star of many kids' films. Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He was a pretty big character with the kids, and Jim Varney played him for almost 20 years. I don't think he made that far, but he played it pretty long and from beginning to end.
Wow.
And before he got into films, the Ernest character started as a mascot for various commercials. And Jim Varney won America over for almost a decade playing this character, and the character was not limited to just one product. He advertised pretty much anything you could think of. I'm pretty sure there's more than what I can find, but so far I've been able to find dozens of commercials featuring Ernest. And I've arranged the ones I think are the best in a particular order to show just the different types he did. And how they would range from sort of good to maybe just okay to pretty cringy.
Vern, I know this to be true. Trust me on this one, Vernon. When you go to deal on a new car somewhere else, you might only save this much, Vern. But your old buddy Ernest would be willing to traverse countless thousands of miles, or just around the block, in order to save this much on a new Tyson's Toyota. You might call this phenomenon pizza logic. I do.
What?
So,
I need
that's...
some pizza logic in my life. I don't think I have any logic.
You got more logic than me. But yeah, that's Jim Varney as Ernest. And would you say that commercial was funny?
Yes.
Kind of cute?
Yes.
Exactly. Now, imagine this character carrying a 90-minute movie. Which is what he ended up doing. And I don't know about you, but me, I think there's a difference between a 30-second short film and a 90-minute full-length movie.
100%.
Yeah, and just because something works in a short run doesn't mean it's going to work all the way through.
Yeah.
But these commercials, not all of them are good. There's some that I think are just lame, but there are a few that still work, and some of them repeated the same tropes, like he did the same comedy skits in them.
Mm-hmm.
And here's one that he did a few times.
Hey, Vern. Vern, hurry up, Vern. Put this in here, that in there, and that in there, and this in here.
Who's Vern?
Come on down and split this Rusty's pizza with me, Vern. Rusty's is made fresh.
More pizza.
Fresh crust, fresh baked, fresh toppings. And when it comes to toppings, Vern, Rusty's has got it all. Am I talking too fast for you here, Vern? Vern, forgive me, Vern. Save the pizza.
So, yeah, the ladder goes over. He did that many, many times. And he mentioned in an interview that he did that stunt like 15 times once.
I would be so scared! I hate that feeling when the ladder starts to go. It's just like, oh god.
And that commercial, it was pretty fun until the end. I thought the ladder crash was a little... I thought it just didn't have a big enough bang to it.
Oh, yep. Okay.
But yeah, advertising more pizza. And as you pointed out, you
I
asked...
thought it was for a roofing company.
You asked, who's Vern? Because he was talking off camera. Vern is Ernest's invisible neighbor who he just noise the hell out of.
Yeah.
Vern is, the camera is Vern's point of view, hence us the audience.
Yes.
And when he's talking to him, he's really talking to us.
Got it.
And we never see Vern at all. The most we get is a hand that just pushes him away or takes whatever he's advertising. It was a pretty...
You are Vern.
Yeah. You are Vern. I am Vern. They are Vern. And I wish we had more people so we can make a Spartacus joke. And one of the most popular products that Jim Varney advertised as his Ernest character was the Mellow Yellow soda.
Which one do I really want? Mellow Yellow or Mountain Dew? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. One potato, two potato, three potato, four. Paper, rock, scissors. Why use all that mathematical, analytical analysis? I'll just pick the one I like the best. Make the mellow yellow move. Know what I mean?
No?
Now that's a creepy smile. I've never had Mellow Yellow either, and I think I've said a few times, and I'll say it again to be clear, I am not a soda drinker. I do not like anything that has carbonation in it. I don't do carbonated beverages, which will sadly guarantee that I'll never be a beer drinker. But yeah, I don't like sodas, but seeing some of these commercials almost makes me want to try one.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure about Mellow Yellow, and I see it on the stores occasionally, like it's still around.
It is?
But I have no idea what Mellow Yellow was until I saw this commercial, which is just funny. And it wasn't the only soda that he advertised. For a while, people in the comments have said that they thought Mellow Yellow was the only soda that Ernest would advertise. Know what I mean? He also did Sprite.
See, Sprite's my kind of drink, so I'm curious.
Hey, Vern. Boy, I'm sure glad you switched from that Uncola. Sprite's everything that stuff is. Clear, clean, caffeine-free. But Sprite tastes better, because only Sprite has lime. Know what I mean?
Does he have hips or legs?
Yep.
Pop me another one in bad
Never
boys.
seen
How about it?
Oh, God.
Vern, my hand, Vern.
That's another comedy skit that he repeated multiple times, showing up at a window, either holding up something or reaching in and taking something and then holding it up after sampling it. And that whole window coming down. According to Jim Varney in an interview, that was not originally part of the first commercial. The window actually did come down.
Oh God!
And they just decided to do it each time.
Because it's hilarious. It's kind of like a ladder, but a little bit more entertaining.
Other people's pain is so funny. Now here's another window commercial where he's not advertising any particular product. He's advertising a TV channel.
Oh.
Hey, Mark, I see you finally listened to your buddy Ernest and tuned into TV 35. That TV 35 is the greatest, buddy. They got you movies. Watch out, Pilgrim. There's space comics. They got you sports. That TV 35 has got it all. Thought you had me, didn't you, Vern? My one hand, Vern.
Oh.
That's something that I find kind of interesting. That they're advertising a TV channel. So it makes me wonder, what TV channel did they sucker into advertising a possible competitor?
I'm sure it was theirs.
I just think that's funny. So, are you tired of Ernest yet?
No. But I don't think I could do 90 minutes of them.
Yeah, I had to go through like 20 commercials to find the right ones to put here. It looks like I might have picked the ones that are actually enjoyable all the way through. But don't worry, for anyone who might be getting a little,
Need some new material?
we only have one more. This is, in my opinion, the funniest of the 30-second Ernest commercials, where he's advertising some TV reruns of an old show from the 60s or 70s called Hogan's Hero.
Oh, I heard this.
Hey, Bert, look what I found in my daddy's closet. You know, I bet you this is from the big one. You know, WW2. Boy, I bet them were some great times. I know, because I never miss Hogan's Heroes on WDBJ7. You know, with Schultz and Hogan and Commandant Clink. Hogan's Heroes. Weekdays on your hometown station. You know, Vern, this must be some kind of a cigarette lighter. I know nothing. I see nothing.
I know nothing. I see nothing.
That is fucking hilarious. That is the best one by far, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's new material. It's original. It's awesome. Oh my god.
I can see how this character could win over a lot of people. And,
Especially when he, like, pops up, like, randomly. Just
yeah,
like, oh, that's him.
as I said, the character wasn't exactly mainstream, at least in the beginning. Like, he would advertise stuff primarily in state areas, I think in maybe the southern areas. And he just won over and got more and more popular, and more companies hired him.
Yeah.
He was a hit, and they gave him movies for it.
True.
About 8 too many, I think. Hope you guys have been enjoying this commercials video, and don't worry, there's going to be a lot more coming up, but for this video I think we should wrap up with one more, and then I'll see you next week. This one is another Dr. Pepper commercial, and I think it's a good way to end this video because it ends on kind of a cliffhanger and is continued in a second commercial.
Oh, crap!
This is the Dr. Pepper movie tie-in commercial with Godzilla from 1985.
We must stop Godzilla before he destroys the city. Oh, what could he want? Unless we find something to appease him.
Fuck lemonade, I guess.
Is it the same musical number?
I think it might be. So, what do you think of the movie tie-in Dr. Pepper commercial?
I'm loving it.
Cool.
Actually,
Actually,
McDonald's.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what Dr. Pepper's slogan was, other than "Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?"
Haven't heard that one.
Early 80s. But yeah, that was the commercials review, part 1. We will see you later.